What's going on, guys? In today's Google My Business SEO tutorial, I'm going to be taking you through a mini course on how you can not only rank for a primary keyword, but also for secondary keywords so that you can start ranking for multiple keywords so you can start generating more leads and phone calls. So let's get right into it. Guys, let's dive right into this Google My Business SEO training. So the main gist of this is going to be how to be ranking for multiple keywords. Now, with most campaigns, you're always going to have like a primary keyword you want to target. But of course, we also want to capture those secondary keywords that can also drive traffic and phone calls for our business. So this is going to be the whole point of this training, although the same principles can really apply to your main keywords, can apply to city specific keywords, right? So I want you guys to really understand the main concepts because these same concepts and strategies can really be applied to any local SEO campaign. Now, of course, you guys know local SEO is really all my agency focuses on. So this is literally all we do. As you can see, we display all of our results directly on our website. We have ranked a ton of different Google My Businesses. So we pretty much put together some of the main points in terms of initial ranking factors that can be and that can influence things or that can be a challenge. And then we're going to be moving into, okay, what are some of the actual tasks that you can do so that you can start moving up in rankings and start generating more phone calls? Because that's really at the end of the day what it's all about for local SEO, Google My Business SEO. So first thing, the initial key factors. So number one thing, of course, is going to be the actual Google My Business name. Now, this doesn't mean that you can just change your name and in 24 hours you're going to be ranking. If all you do is change your name and you don't do anything else to the Google My Business, you don't do anything else to the website, you're not adding fresh content, you're not doing the proper on-page and off-page optimizations to not only the Google My Business, but the website, just adding the name is probably not going to do much. So it has to be all connected. Now, let's say you have been doing SEO for some time now, you add a keyword in your name, then yes, you're probably going to move up some rankings. But do keep in mind that it can potentially flag your Google My Business if it's not your actual registered business name. So typically, I would only change it, or if you haven't created a profile yet, then I would personally register a DBA first, doing business as. I think it costs like couple hundred bucks. You could do it online, real easy process, and you can have a legally registered business name that you can operate under. So this will be the smartest and the safest way to actually be able to include those keywords into the actual name of the business. That way you can have those keywords in the name of the Google My Business profile, right? Because essentially your competitors can report you. Maybe Google's own AI can catch up to you. So do keep in mind, I would recommend you have a DBA. Number two is the age of the listing, right? So if a Google My Business listing has been on Google for like 10 years and they've been doing SEO for 10 years, they're probably going to have an advantage over a brand new listing. That's just how it is, right? They have more authority, especially if they've been doing SEO for so long. Google's going to recognize them as an authority in their location, in their industry. So it is going to be a little bit harder to outrank those competitors, but it's not impossible. It's just going to take a little bit more work. At the end of the day, Google My Business depends a lot on wherever the searcher is located. So, you could essentially rank very well in a 1 mile radius and you can rank horribly in a 2 mile radius. It really just depends wherever the searcher is located at whenever they're doing the search. And that's going to have a big influence in terms of your ranking. So it's never impossible to outrank larger companies or companies that have been on Google for decades, simply because you can always at least start dominating in your local area wherever it is that you registered your business around, or wherever it is that your storefront is around, with the proper SEO optimizations and of course the right techniques. Number 3 is the authority and the size of the website. So it is proven that Google My Business does take data directly from your website, at least the URL that's connected to the Google My Business. So if your Google My Business has the URL to the homepage, then that's the page it's going to gather information from. If the URL is pointed at a location page, that's where Google My Business is going to get data from. So I know a lot of service type companies like to open up multiple listings, or they have multiple location pages. So if you do have multiple listings, then each listing or each listing in a different city should have its own targeted location page about that city. You never want to do just a home page. You want to actually create individual city pages or location pages if you do have multiple listings. If you just have one listing, and most businesses, most local websites typically optimize their homepage for like the main keyword. So normally it's fine if you just have it pointed to the homepage. But if you do kind of just, some people like to just keep the homepage more general and then build out location pages that way, then of course you want to make sure that your GMB is pointing to the properly optimized location page. So that's definitely something you want to take into consideration. And of course, whatever that page is internally linking to or externally linking to can also affect the rankings. So also keep that in mind. If let's say your GMB points to your homepage, and then your homepage has a bunch of internal links to different service pages, blog posts, then that's also going to influence some of the rankings. So do keep that in mind. And this is why also adding topical relevant blog posts and geo-specific content and having relevant service pages that pushes up your main keyword is also going to have a positive influence on your GMB rankings, because all of that's going to work together if the internal linking is done properly, and it's just going to boost up your authority. Google's going to recognize you like a authoritative brand. You know exactly what you're talking about because you're answering every single question about this specific service. So if you're a plumber, you want to answer all these different services, all these different questions about plumbing, right? You want to answer all these different questions about water heater replacement, or you want to answer all these different questions about drainage, right? So take your main service, which is going to be your primary keyword. Typically, if you're a plumber, you're going to optimize your homepage for plumbing in your city. If you're a roofer, you're going to optimize your homepage for roofer in that city. It's pretty common sense when it comes to local in terms of the keywords. It's really just service plus the city, and then optimize everything around that. Number 4 is going to be your backlink profile. So this is kind of what boosts up everything. So the amount of local signals that you have, niche citations, geo citations, press releases, guest posts, right? All of these different backlinks that are pointing to your website, pointing to your Google My Business, is also going to boost up your authority and relevancy, especially if you're doing some strategic backlinking and you use exact match anchors. So if you're a roofing company and you link back to your website with the anchor text roofing company, then that's going to be a positive sign to Google. They need to push you up for that specific keyword. So not only that, but it's also going to make your brand look like an authority, because real brands have a online presence. They're going to have their social media set up. They're going to have all of their citations set up. They're going to be having press releases. They're going to be getting online mentions, right? So this is really another important factor that's going to influence your GMB. Now, setting up your Google My Business for success. So basically, first, of course, you want to do the basic Google My Business optimizations. I'm not going to go over that because every other GMB local SEO video covers the same thing. As they cover the basic GMB optimizations. They say you need to build citations. And then they say that you need to do some outreach and get local backlinks, which we all know is never going to happen because nobody knows who you are, nor do they care who you are, and they're not going to give you a backlink. So you're going to get a backlink, just pay for it. So do your basic optimizations, add your images, add your videos. You already know what to do. Next thing you want to do now, whenever you're trying to rank for multiple keywords, you need to add the relevant category as a secondary category. You can see it right here. I bolded it as a secondary category. Do not change your primary category if you're already ranking. So changing your primary category can have a negative impact on your rankings, and you could potentially lose your rankings for your primary category, whatever it is that you're already ranking for. So if you change that, you're going to lose rankings. So don't mess with the primary category if it's already ranking. So you want to add your keywords as secondary categories. So keep that in mind, guys. Very important. Do not change the primary category if you're already ranking. Then you want to include the service, or in this case, the service is going to be the keyword. So just keep in mind, whenever I mention service, I'm really just talking about the keyword. Include the service and keyword in the Google My Business Services section. So if you just go into here, services, in this area is where you want to be adding your different services that you can provide, and then just add a small description about that specific service. You don't really have to do any type of over optimization here. You just want to have a mention of the keyword, because sometimes Google will pull data directly from your services. They'll pull data from your Google My Business post. They'll pull data from reviews, pull data from your website. So you do want to make sure that the keyword is mentioned in there somewhere. Then you want to also include the keyword in a Google My Business post and add the keyword on the image within the content, and add relevant hashtags if you can. I have seen Google My Business pull listings, and they actually pull data from the hashtags. So it is actually important to add hashtags if it allows you, right? Sometimes Google will deny the post. So if that happens, then just go back, take them off, and try to resubmit it and see if that works. And then if you have a related service page or a blog post, link out from the Google My Business post to that specific article or service page. So let me show you a quick example here. This is one of the posts we did for a client. You can see we have here we're targeting a article. So we just put the title of the article in the image, and then we're also linking out to the image, not the image, the article here. If we click the learn more button, it will actually take us to the article. You can see we added our relevant hashtags here as well. So that's definitely one thing you want to do. So whatever your keyword is, just do the same thing. Put the keyword in the image, have the keyword in the text here. This is a good example. We have the keyword right here. We put the keyword at the beginning of the post, and then we link out to our location page. So that's kind of how you want to structure your GMB post. And then lastly, if you can, include the keyword within a GMB review. So basically, if you can get a review, try to include that keyword within the review. You know, if you do have a family, friend, relative, trusted client, you can ask them to politely leave you a nice review and to include that specific service or keyword that you're trying to rank for. And if you do want to power up that review, send them an image that they can also upload with that review about that specific service. So if it's a roof leak repair, you know, send them an image of a roof leak repair and have them upload that along with their review. And that's really going to help power up the rankings for that specific keyword, because oftentimes Google My Business will pull up the review for specific search terms. So that is pretty important, guys. And if you do want to get an example of that, I could do like roofing company near me. And then if I just click on this first one right here, and we go to their reviews, let's see, view more. Let's see, sometimes it actually bolds them. not seeing it here, but if we go into, if we try to ask a question, let me see if it lets me ask a question. See, this is weird. Let me try doing this. Let me just look them up by their brand name. Just go down here, ask a question, and you'll see as soon as I start typing this in, you'll see that Google will actually pull relevant reviews, and they'll actually bold the text right here. So you can see when it comes to the roof, the best roofing company, see how they mentioned this exact keyword. So Google will actually pull this data because they think it's a relevant review. So that's pretty much what you want to be doing with your GMB reviews. And target, those secondary keywords that you also want to be ranking for, because that's also going to be a positive signal. And then, of course, you want to set up your website for success. So you want to create a service page on your main website targeting the keyword. Pretty self-explanatory, guys. For an example, you want to have your service pages nicely laid out for each individual service that you want to be ranking for. So potentially each one of these pages could be a secondary keyword that we would want to be ranking for. So just make sure you build it out and you have it somewhere on your website. Like I mentioned earlier, Google will pull data from the website. And then you also, not only do you want to create a service page, but create supporting content around it. So easy ways to do this is search up frequently asked questions. Easy way to do that is just go to Google. And if I do like AC repair, we can scroll down, and then people also ask pretty much the same thing. These are just frequently asked questions that Google thinks are relevant. So you'd want to add these or create a blog post about each one of these and have them link back to that service page. Or you can even add a FAQ page, FAQ section, an FAQ section on the service page about these different, and have these questions on there. Another way is doing blog posts. So just finding relevant questions again, doing your quick keyword research using something like SEMrush. You can find blog post topics and how-to guides as well. Those work very well, like how to find the best plumber in this city, how to find the best roofer in this city, 3 steps on choosing the best roofing company near me, things like that. Make them localized. So take like a national term and kind of optimize it for local. And then lastly, project gallery with a description of location or the service. And you'll find this pretty common within contractors. Normally they'll have like a gallery section or a project section, and they'll actually create individual pages for each project. So they'll have like images of the project, they'll title whatever it is that they did, and then add a short description, and then add the location and embed a Google map of that specific location, whether it's a house, commercial property, just adds more relevance. And then make sure you optimize that page for the target keyword. So have the URL have the keyword in the URL, have the keyword in the title tag, have the keyword in the header 1, image, file name, and alt tag, link internally to other related pages, and then link externally to your Google My Business. And this is most of this is just your comment on page stuff. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below about that. Lastly, boost your efforts with backlinks. Don't try to do any outreach, just buy them. Please just buy them. You're going to be wasting a lot of time trying to do some outreach or some crazy stuff like that. First of all, press releases still work great. Do these on a consistent basis. And important things to keep in mind, include the keyword within the press release title. Have one link going to the service page for whatever keyword you're trying to rank for, and then one link going to the GMB. And then lastly, make sure you embed your Google My Business. And another thing that I would add is to add your name, address, phone number, website to the end of the press release. Branded niche and geo links. So you can take free Web 2.0s like Blogger, Medium, Tumblr, and you can actually create niche and geo relevant content. And once these websites get crawled, they will index. And if you do things right, within the actual article or the content, you can link back to your main website, you can link out to your Google My Business, and it's just going to add more relevancy because Google's going to see you have these other websites mentioning or talking about your company. The content is hyper specific to your location or to your niche, and it's also going to build up that authority. IFTT network, this pretty much is like a ring of Web 2.0 profiles. So think of like 10 interconnected Web 2.0 profiles, and whenever you post a blog post on your main website, it automatically gets syndicated to all of those websites. And through your internal linking, you'll actually create backlinks, automatic backlinks pointing back to your website. So it's actually a really cool technique, and it's just another way of getting high quality backlinks. Google Stacks, don't go cheap on this. Just a single landing page Google Stack is not going to do anything. You need to get a well built out Google Stack with service pages that mirrors your actual website, and then power that up with tier 2 links. Lastly, local posts, websites like Patch, Nextdoor, Eventbrite, and Groupon. Real simple. You just sign up on them, create a profile, and then you can either create an event or you can create a like a post, and you can link back to your website and to your Google My Business. This is a cool one that not many people, I've never heard anyone talk about this, but Groupon. So Groupon, obviously very high authority website. And the cool thing about it is that all of the websites or businesses listed on Groupon are local companies. So it's going to be hyper specific to your city. And you can even add keywords within the title or the service, the URL that will get indexed. And they index very quickly, and they normally are on the first page for your brand name. So even if you just offer like a 10% discount, you can get your business listed on here, and you're going to get a high authority backlink. For an example, if you go to Groupon and you do a search for like roofing, you'll find like these roofing companies here just offering like small discounts, like this one, roof inspection and maintenance, roofing services. So if I click on this, if I scroll down, you can see they actually have their website here listed. So again, it's giving them a backlink, and like I said, you can just offer a 10%, 15% discount, and you're going to get a high authority backlink that indexes fairly quickly, and most likely your competitor is not going to have it. Let me show you an example here. So we actually created a Groupon a while back for them, and as you can see, it ranks on the first page for their brand name. But not only that, we were actually able to include the keyword here in the service. So if I click on that, we were actually able to add the keyword within the title, and it also has it up here in the URL. So that's really powerful, guys. If you can add those keywords within the URL, like I said, this index is very fast, and you're going to get a free local backlink. So that's it for this tutorial, guys, for this mini course. Hope you guys got something out of it. Feel free to leave any questions or comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you do need help with any local SEO, feel free to send me an email or go to our website and you can fill out the application there. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and stay blessed. See you.